I've talked before about a range of compact cameras. I've talked about the Olympus MU 1s and 2s, the Pentaxes. Today I'm talking about a Minolta, and I believe this came out in, and it's this Minolta, it's a AF Z. Now, the AF Z came out in 1986. So to put it in context, the first Canon automatic focus compact was 79, followed by a few. So this is a relatively later compact, and it's got some nice specs. It's a 2.8 lens, so it's a moderately fast lens. It's a fixed focal length of 35mm, so it's not a zoom. It's a slightly right angle, and it's got this rather nice cam cover front, which was very typical of the times. Now, this cam cover can be excellent because it protects the lens, and you could say you don't need a case with it. However, there's a little micro slits in the cover, and I know on the Olympuses those can often be a little bit of an issue. So this is quite, as I said, it's a 2.8. If we look inside to load the camera, we simply open the back here, and you can see loading camera there, an interesting bar there, or a cover to ensure the film goes in. I haven't seen this on other cameras. An interesting development there. So film in there, over there, close. And obviously if we had a film in, it would go to number 1 there. This is obviously the shutter switch here. I'm not going to press it or I'll get blinded by this flash. But if I move this, so this is the shutter button here, and this button gives you a variety of options, and the options are quite useful. We have this portrait stroke landscape module, and I presume that is without flash. We have a self timer, and we have a flash on a sunny day, which is actually very useful because you can get shadows, and it's like a fill flash. And I think that is a range of shots. And that is basically it. What amazes me about this camera is, if you think about it, it's a Minolta lens, it's a 2.8 lens, it's a 4 elements lens, so that's like a Tessar lens. And it's nicely made. It appears to be quite good quality, but we'll see what happens when we see the photographs. But the price of these, you can pick these up for £5 to £20 on eBay at the moment, where when you're looking at the MU Olympus cameras, you can pay hundreds of pounds. Are they better cameras, or let's see what the results were like on this camera. The first photographs are taken in the small market town of Blandford in Dorset, and I'm using, for a change, I'm using a Kodak 400 ASA ISO film, and the results are fine. I think I slightly underdeveloped it. However, when I've used this film before, I've had similar effects, so it's probably about the right development. But I was really pleased with the contrast, I was really pleased with the sharpness. This camera, I think, is a real little gem. It's very neat, it's very easy to use, and the lens, as you can see, is sharp. The focusing on the whole was very accurate. I didn't seem to have any big problems with the camera. And as I said, the only thing I did wonder is, had I slightly underdeveloped the film? But I think sometimes a slightly underdeveloped film can give you quite a nice quality, and it gives you a bit of a refinement, especially when it is a 400. It was plus matte, I think. The Georgian church in Blandford is really striking. It was the town caught fire in Georgian times and was rebuilt and designed by two brothers called the Bastard Brothers. That was their name. Now we have moved into Dorchester, and as you can see, the camera is performing absolutely fine. I did a short walk from here. This is the High Street in Dorchester. I quite liked how some of these buildings came out in a rather dramatic form with the sky behind. I later went for a walk up to Stinsford, a small village. Again, I quite like this camera. It's just a little bit of a find, I think. And so if you see AFZ by Minolta, you might be able to pick up one for a very reasonable price. Here's the walk I was talking to you about in the fields. This was to Stinsford. There's a lot of Dorset sheep about at the moment, and they seem quite excited to see people, even though they are on quite a main walk and see people all the time. The film I was talking about was T-Mats 400. T-Mats is a 400 ISO film made by Kodak and has quite a following. I quite like it, but it isn't really my film of choice. I always find 400 film a little bit grainy for my liking. However, when it's dull and unpredictable, especially in the English autumn and winter, it's quite an idea to keep some 400 film in. So, thanks for watching. Bye for now.